There's been so much buzz, so much hype. We operate off supply and demand. Like, y'all tell us what you want, we supply it. It's kind of how this whole thing works. And we're fortunate to where you have demanded college football year round, which thank you so much while we have a job. But one team that just continues to pop up on the ticker and pop up on the radar of college football public is Colorado. And we previewed it a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and make some predictions for this spring game this coming Saturday. And probably the biggest bullet point around this game, like what's going to happen on the field is going to happen on the field, and that'll be fun. We'll talk about it. This is an enormous recruiting event for Colorado. Whole stadium sold out. It's on ESPN, not ESPN Plus, not Pac-12 Network, not ESPN2, not ESPNU. It's on ESPN, Practice 15 for Colorado, which they operate off supply and demand too, just to be clear. So people care about this spring game. For recruits, one, they have a ton of guys visiting. Guys that are committed to other schools, guys that are high-profile prospects with a lot of stars next to their name, guys that can change the trajectory of Colorado football should they choose to come to Boulder and play with Coach Prime. So this is kind of an audition of sorts for Colorado. This is a chance for them to do two things, and this was something that the good people at the Personnel Symposium this past summer in Nashville explained that they try to do for kids that come on visits, just in general across the personnel world in college football. Two things. One, trying to wow these recruits. Sellout crowd, games on ESPN, most charismatic coach in college football. Okay, we can check that box. Two, trying to make you feel at home. Now, some of that's going to obviously be a little bit more internal that we can't really speak to in terms of making these kids feel at home, but I promise you, Coach Prime, like I said, most charismatic coach in the entire landscape. I don't even know who's sitting at number 2. They're going to have a really good chance to land some commitments. So my prediction coming off this spring game, there will be commitments. Whether it's guys that visited, whether it's guys that just watch it on TV that are holding a Colorado offer, there will be some commitments following this spring game. Whether it's the week after, whether it's on the weekend of, there will be some commitments. Now, I don't know any intel. Like, I don't have, something in my back pocket where I'm saying, yeah, I know this kid's going to commit, so I can be right. I'm just purely speculating. I'm guessing. That's the feel I get. The hype around this game is enormous, and when you get to Boulder in front of a sellout crowd, Coach Prime's on the sideline, that is the vision come to life. I'm no longer having to sell you on the idea of, hey, come here, we're going to get these people excited about football. People are excited about Colorado football. You can put something good on the field, and you can be a part of that as a high-profile kid. Like, it's an attractive pitch right now for Coach Prime. So that's a big part of this. That's going to propel them forward. Everyone wants to talk about what they're going to do in year one and going back from 1-11 and reaching to new heights for Colorado football. Like, I'm here for that. Don't get it twisted. But recruiting and the future of Colorado is how I think we need to really assess Coach Prime and his success there. Now, if you're locked in right now, we appreciate you. Make sure you're subscribed. Follow me on Twitter at JD Piquel. All that. We love y'all for that, okay? Moving on. I think we see Shedeur Sanders look like he's in command. And this is an interesting thing to talk about because transfer portal quarterbacks are in an interesting position. You enter into a new locker room at the most visible position of leadership on the football roster. And you kind of got to earn your keep, right? Like, you have to prove I'm a foxhole guy during winter conditioning. I'm someone to be trusted during spring football. I'm going to make the right plays. I think this might be a little bit easier for a guy like Shedeur Sanders, not because his dad's the head coach, but because there's so many other transfers that came in with him. So he's, as opposed to maybe having to win, let's say, 75% of the locker room when you first show up, he's having to win like 50% of the locker room right now. That was existing before, and then getting the rest of the transfers to trust him. I don't mean to say he doesn't have to win the entire locker room. I'm just saying there's less guys here that have stayed at Colorado for a long time and are saying, who are you to us? Who are you to walk in here? Like, a lot of us are new, dude. We're all here together. And I think that probably plays in his favor. But on the field, I think we see him look comfortable, look composed, and I'm just excited to see him spin it. Because through 2 years at Jackson State, 70 touchdowns, 14 picks, the dude can play some ball. This will be a new level for him to a degree, but dude can play some ball. So I'm excited to watch how that all unfolds. But I think we see him look in command. Doesn't mean I see him throw 4 touchdowns and no incompletions. He'll look comfortable. He'll make good decisions with the football. He'll get his offense lined up, and he'll look poised back there. So we're not making absolutes, but that's what I believe will happen in this spring football game. And for Shedeur Sanders in Colorado, that is the key to getting this thing off the ground. If your quarterback can cover up some of your weaknesses, Colorado's going to have some of those weaknesses. As much as they've done in the portal, they're going to have some things they got to shore up. If Shedeur Sanders can be the answer to those issues or at least help cover up different weaknesses, I've explained this a couple times in terms of what those weaknesses would be, but if the O-line can't hold the blocks for very long, get the ball out quick. How do you get the ball out quick? Know where you're going with the football. How do you know where you're going with the football? Process the defense quickly, be a film rat, be a guy that's just living in the gym. That's what I think Shedeur Sanders is going to be for Colorado in 2023. That's how we will assess him, at least. Now, another guy we got to talk about, another prediction I'm going to make here for the spring football game. I think Travis Hunter has kind of gotten a little bit of a bad rap to a degree. Like, there's been so much talk about him playing at the FCS level and that highlight against, subpar, I put in quotes, competition that with that clip that was circulating on Twitter where he caught the deep touchdown pass. Like, I think Travis Hunter makes plays on both the offensive and defensive side of the football for Colorado in the spring game. Now, what that looks like, I'll kind of call my shot here. I think he catches a touchdown. Like, I think he's a guy where we're like, yep, Travis Hunter, he's in the end zone. He's going to be a guy for them. He might be one of their best receivers this year, if not their best receiver this year at Colorado. And then on the defensive side, pass breakup, interception, whatever it is, you will leave the spring game feeling reassured that Travis Hunter is all that he was billed to be out of high school. Now, I'm not saying he's still going to be the number one overall pick or anything like that, but I'm just saying you will be like, okay, all that he did at Jackson State, that's not just the FCS level of competition. Like, he's actually that guy, and we feel encouraged about that based on his spring game performance. Now, here's the guy to watch. Jimmy Horn Jr. Some of y'all that follow the transfer portal closely know who he is. He's a transfer from USF, about 5'10", $165, 170, jittery, can play in the slot for you, can play out wide for you. He's a guy that actually earned his jersey number first. And those of you that are confused what I'm talking about, Colorado has a system in place where you have to earn your jersey number, whatever it is. So we're all starting out with blank jerseys. Jimmy Horn made enough plays, did things the right way to where he got to pick out his number before anybody else on the team. I think that says something. So I'm excited to see him cut it loose. I think he's going to be a guy that ultimately could end up being that best receiver next to Travis Hunter. Treat this spring game for Colorado like an evaluation as opposed to treating it like a ballot. Because the temptation for Colorado, or watching Colorado rather, is watching their spring game and saying, yep, Shedeur Sanders winning the Heisman, or yep, Shedeur Sanders can't play the position at this level, he's not good enough. Let's keep from doing that. Just try and check boxes for Colorado. Shedeur Sanders looks in control. Okay, that's a good sign. What does it mean for the fall? I don't know. But if this is as bad as he's going to be in a spring football game where he's still getting acclimated to the system, okay, that's a good sign. Same thing with Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter dropped a pass, overrated. Like, let's keep from doing that. Just take an evaluation overall, take a pulse, and this Colorado product, I believe, we'll see what it looks like in year one, but the dividends for Colorado is going to be year 2, year 3. That's when we'll really get to see, okay, what is Coach Prime to Colorado? We know he's upping the personnel. We know he's upping the way they do things. We know that they've gotten some impressive pieces through the portal. We're going to see what this program is in a couple of years. So be encouraged by this. It's a huge recruiting spectacle. Enjoy that. But let's sort of temper expectations and temper making absolute statements about Colorado based off of one spring football game.